Hello and welcome to the Darlington College Learned It, Living It podcast. Today I have an absolute entourage, gang of students with me. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you up. This is the most I've ever done a podcast with, so we'll see how we go today. So we're going to go quickly. Introduce yourselves. I'm going to point so we don't all shout at once. Okay, so what's your name?
Kenzie.
Kenzie?
Sasha.
Jay.
Tilly.
Matthew.
And Todd.
There you go. Just like that. Now I need to remember them all. That's great. So thank you for the challenge. I think, just before we get into it, what course are you on?
We're on the level 3 outdoor leadership course.
There we go. Fantastic. So outdoor leadership, and there's a particular reason why we've got you guys here today on the podcast. It's because of a certain little adventure you've been having, I believe. I'm quite jealous, actually. When I heard about this coming into it, I was like, why couldn't I just go with you and we'll film it there and it'll be great and we'll have a really good time. So do you want to tell us where you've been, what you've been up to?
So we've been to Nepal on a 2-week trip, and we've been working in the schools teaching the Nepalese children, and then on the second week we did a trek.
I went to Scarborough for my school trip. You went all the way over to Nepal. So there's a lot of things there. So you're working in schools, correct? Was it primary school? What sort of age groups were you working with?
It was more as in like 9 to 14-year-olds.
Yeah, and what sort of things were you doing with them?
So we were teaching them about mental, social and physical well-being. So each day we did different lessons on each of the different aspects of it. So one day we could have done basketball with them and did different little drills with them. Then for like social, we would do like team building activities. And then for mental, we did like word searches and origami with them.
Wow. Okay, so basically you went and became teachers, is that what you're talking about? So you flipped the side, for instead of being in the classroom and learning yourselves, you went and actually helped out. What was the experience like for you doing that, working with the kids?
Yeah, it was amazing. And you built like a proper connection with them once you've seen them for a week. It was mad how much they like appreciated you like after a week of like teaching them and being with them. So yeah, it was good.
I bet you built some really good relationships. Hard to leave, I imagine. I bet you had a great time with that.
Sad leaving them.
Wow, okay. So the first part is you went into the school and worked with the students and you did all kinds of weird and wonderful things. But obviously, first of all, what was your name at the back?
Matthew.
Matthew. How long did it take you to get... I've never been to Nepal. How long did it take you to actually get there?
I think it was like 5 hours on the bus from here to London.
Okay, yeah.
And then an 8.5 hour flight to India.
Right.
And then an hour and a half flight to Nepal.
And how was that experience for you? Like doing all that travel, obviously the bus to London, we know what that is, but how was that journey from obviously London to India and then connecting onto Nepal?
First time I've been abroad, so it was quite scary.
Was it?
Yeah. Never been on a plane before or anything.
Yeah, and I imagine obviously different languages and things like that going on. Jet lag? Did you get some jet lag going on?
Not really.
Did you get away with it?
I think I got away with it.
There we go. So you have no excuse for not getting out of bed on a morning, I imagine. No. So, fantastic. Sorry, I'm just going to go through here. I've got some notes. So, yeah, obviously you went all the way to Nepal. I think the staff probably did a good job. I'm looking off camera. The staff did a good job of looking after you, and they had their hands full making sure. But do you want to take me through sort of some of the food and things that you managed to experience when you were out there?
Yes, so over there it's like mostly vegetarian, like there's no meat whatsoever.
Yeah.
So the main one was dal bhat, which is like their, like I would say their delicacy, which is all like lentils and rice, but they don't eat with knives and forks of it. They eat with their hands. And then they've got momos as well, which we had to go at making as well.
So how would you describe a momo to me?
Like a dumpling, kind of.
Okay.
So it's like a bit like, because it's like steamed and boiled.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like a soggy dumpling.
Yeah.
But they're quite nice. They're like they're specifically folded in on themselves, but it's a really good food though.
Yeah. Challenging to make, or was it quite straightforward once you got the idea?
Different experiences for different people. Some people made them like pasties, and some people made
There's
them
some
like...
looks being exchanged behind you. Who made the pasty one? Did you make the pasty one, did you? you know, you're introducing them to something a bit different, I suppose. There you go. Yeah, and what other sort of styles were they sort of making? What other foods?
There was this bread, because on the trek it was mostly dalbat, and then for breakfast it was like this bread. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's kind of like a pancake.
Right, okay.
Like a hollow pancake,
Yeah.
but we had that with like eggs and then spicy potatoes for breakfast, and that was our go-to on the trek.
With rice.
Oh, and rice.
Rice.
Lots of rice.
Lots of rice.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Tell me about your pasty dump. No, I'm only kidding. How did you enjoy the food, obviously, in Nepal?
At first it was a bit too spicy because I'm not good with spice. So I did have to ask them to like tone it down a bit with the spice. But there was some meals that I did really enjoy, like all the noodles and stuff. I really enjoyed it. But then there was some meals like the dal bat. I did enjoy it, but then there was sometimes, because it was like every day we were having it, I was a bit like, I don't know. It's not I didn't like it. I don't know what
Just
it was.
different.
Yeah, it was just different.
So would you say you've tried foods that you wouldn't have normally tried?
Yeah,
at home?
definitely.
Yeah, everyone's nodding here.
Definitely.
What was the standout meal for yourself?
It was the dalbat by far. Yeah.
Did you just eat buckets of this dal bat while you're
That's-
at
yeah.
Everyone's nodding.
That's like their our fish and chips for them.
Oh, right.
We're all traditional fish and chips. That's like their fish and chips.
But big servings as well. It was like a massive tray. It wasn't like a little plate. It was a big tray, and they just like dollop
See
it
how
all
happy
on.
that makes the two of you.
Yeah.
Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. So obviously you went over there working in schools, so you not only the stuff that you're doing in schools working with the young people, but obviously your breakfast, lunch, dinner, all of that. I mean, where were you kind of staying when you were on this trip? What sort of places did you stay in for accommodation? Do you want to?
So for the first week we stayed in one like hotel for the whole of the time we were in Kathmandu. I can't remember its name.
Shaggy House.
Yeah, whatever she said. And that was really nice. So we stayed there for Kathmandu, and then obviously when we got to going on the trek, we got to Pokhara, and we stayed in a hotel at Pokhara, and then in Gandruk, and then there was another one that was below Poon Hill, and then we came back down.
Have you
So,
remembered every
yeah,
every
she's
name?
very good at remembering everything.
What was that last one called?
Gorapani.
Garapani. Right.
So, yeah, we were staying in different places, and it was quite a good experience staying in the different hotels and that, because they were all very different to each other and interesting.
Yeah, you didn't know how it'd be. Didn't know how it would be when you got there. So like when we went to Pokhara, the hotel was like really, really nice.
Looking over the lake and everything.
Yeah, and then the next night it was just like a little bit less nice in a way to put it. But they were all really good.
So I imagine were you backpacking? Was it backpack suitcases? How were you getting about? What were you carrying your luggage in?
Backpacks.
Big backpacks, yeah.
Massive
Who had the
backpacks.
biggest backpack out of you guys sat around the table?
He had the heaviest.
You had the
Yeah,
heaviest.
I got lumped of more clothes than of other people's stuff, but you know.
How were you carrying it for the other people?
Yeah, because I had to go with being a porter as well, and that was a different experience.
Well, I was going to ask you about that when we get onto the trekking section, so keep that one in there. So, obviously, I just want to delve into the stuff that you're doing in the schools. First of all, could you give me a bit of an overview of what the schools were like over there? What were your experiences?
We went to a private school in Kathmandu, one of the ones that were quite close to the accommodation that we were in. And once you first see it, it's quite an eye-opener because of how different it is to what your normal schools over here is.
Mhm.
Like they don't have as much resources when it comes to school equipment that we do. The tables and pretty much classrooms are pretty much quite run down and that. But they do try and make the most out of everything that they've got. They really are eager to learn about everything.
Brilliant. And how big was the school that you're at? Well, how big was the school, roughly?
Like, when you look at it from the outside, you don't expect it to be like as big as it was, but when you go inside, there was like multiple floors, quite a few floors, and it was quite big. But obviously, like the classrooms are quite small, so they're condensed, but they've got loads of desks in to actually accommodate all the children.
Fantastic. Okay. What? So you're doing outdoor activities and things like that with them, weren't there? And was it cultural stuff? What did you mention you were doing with the kids?
Social, mental, and physical well-being.
Okay, so take me into what would a session like that involve?
So, for example, physical well-being, we would split them up into different days. So, for our group, the physical well-being day, we did basketball drills with them. We did like just passing drills, like dribbling around corns, and then we'd get them to do like a little game and just do little mini games within it. So we'd do it like make it so they could do a certain activity and we'd count up the points, and then so that's like a competition for them. And they seem to really enjoy that.
And then sort of how did you do the mental wellness sessions and things?
So mental, we would do it. So we'd talk about like different emotions. So we'd see if like they understood it, and we'd write down different like emotions and then see what makes them feel them emotions. So for happy, we would say, "Oh, what makes you happy?" And they would say like home, family, friends, all them different things.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay. So the question I had when we got into the school discussion is sort of, I'm a tech guy myself. I enjoy my technology, hence why I'm surrounded by microphones and cameras. But I'd be interested to know a bit more about the technology, but not only at the schools, for example, but what you'd see in the homes and things like that. Would you like to give me a bit of an insight into that?
Well, there wasn't really a lot of technology in the classrooms that we were in. It was mainly just a whiteboard and pen, like whiteboard and whiteboard pen. And yeah, when you look around, there wasn't really that much technology, to be fair, thinking about it.
But to do with the tech, though, there wasn't many computers, if any, and even the offices were in there, like the TVs, well, computer screens were like the big boxy, like old windows that you see in like
the classic machine.
Yeah,
you're talking
like
about
that.
kids from my childhood, computers from my childhood. Thank you. The really old equipment. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I mean, it must be very different to see. I imagine you didn't see. Was there as many smartphones kicking around over there and things like this?
There was some, but they were like older smartphones. Like you could do things on them, but they weren't like brand new
Just
ones.
playing
like
games on them, weren't
just playing
they?
games, because that's like
it.
what they do.
Yeah.
Like if they got access to a game, they just play it on the phones and they'd ask.
PUBG.
Yeah.
They were big on PUBG and World at Warcraft, was it? I think.
Okay. All right, so you got to really kind of understand what they enjoy on a day to day, as well as this, outside of school, obviously, and the things like that. That's absolutely fantastic. So, what we're going to go on to is I just want to kind of delve into the culture a little bit, because we're kind of touching on it there. I mean, what would you understand? Like, what was your takeaways from the culture?
Well, we went to a lot of temples, so we got to understand their religion and what their beliefs are and stuff like that. It was quite interesting because when we were going around the temples, they were showing us when they had the earthquake not that long ago, and how they've had to rebuild the temples by hand through the past years and how long it's taken them. And it was amazing looking at the temples and seeing that they'd done all that with their bare hands, do you know what I mean? Because that's just how they do it. But looking into the temples and their religion and stuff, it was quite like eye-opening, and like I think everyone who went was proper like eye-opened by how much they like respect their culture and their beliefs, and how much they like actually like delve into that rather than like just kind of throw it to a side. So yeah, we learnt a lot about that and stuff, and we went to quite a few temples, and we went to a monkey temple as well, which was quite interesting.
Oh, tell me a bit more. So how does a monkey temple work, if that makes sense?
Well, there's a lot of monkeys, and yeah, that was about it. It's
so they're just
a temple,
roaming
and
around
they're
the
just
temple.
roaming around everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of monkeys, and you have to like try not to let them take your phone. So
Yes, I've seen a few programs where they can take your things and try and negotiate for it back by exchanging for food, I believe. I don't know whether it was that place.
That's exactly what they told us they did.
Was it?
So, yeah.
They take your stuff off you.
There was one running around with a water bottle and just drinking out the water
Yeah.
bottle.
Yeah.
Like it unscrewed the cap and drank out of the water bottle.
And then just threw it.
Shouldn't be littering that monkey. That's a Nazi monkey right there. Okay, I mean, what an experience that's like, just to step out of the local area and see something like that is absolutely incredible. I suppose what'd be interesting though is the language. So you're working in schools, explain to me, do you want to take me through, like, was there a language barrier, or did a lot of the students speak English?
They spoke better English than we did. Majority of them. Like, they understood. They might not have spoke to you like in response because they were too shy, but they all understood you. And if they didn't understand you, there was someone next to them that did. Oh my God, they did. So there was like the older kids didn't really speak, like understand the English better, but the younger kids all understood it because there's like when they get taught it at school, and yeah,
So that certainly helped out. When you were travelling through, obviously, India and then connecting out to Nepal, and just in the local area, did you come across many language barriers or anything like that, or was everyone very
well? We got
English-speaking?
stuck in India for quite a while on the way back, so it would have been a problem if we couldn't. But they kind of just guided us to where we needed to be, so it was all right. But yeah, that could have been
different challenges to overcome when you're traveling. I really enjoy traveling, and it's always fantastic. But obviously, language is a key thing that we rely on to get
yeah,
around.
we just kind of got pointed at where to go. And
Did you? Yeah. What amazes me with traveling though is we find that people are generally very good and very helpful, and I'm always taken aback because you kind of live your day-to-day life doing what you're doing, and then when you step out of that comfort zone and then you've got a complete stranger in a completely different place helping you out, it always blows me away, and it's always fantastic. So we're going to move on to the trekking last, okay, so and the travelling section, but what I want to do, and we've touched there, is a bit around the environment, okay, so I've got notes about pollution levels and things like that. What was your observations around the environment?
I would say like the pollution in the environment in general was quite like high, particularly in Kathmandu, because we had to wear a mask at one point on some days because they were telling us the pollution was like quite high, so it'd be difficult to breathe, and you found after spending the day out there, your chest was a bit heavy, your nose was clogged up, so like the air over there is not as clean as over
in the urban
yeah.
environment. Yeah, very different
Yeah,
experience.
but I think that's because of the motorbikes over there, because like I think every household at least has one, like, or every person there pretty much has one, like that's their main form of transport as well.
I mean, that's incredible about the environment. What were your biggest sort of take-homes that stood out in terms of the environment
I
when you were
think
there?
when we were walking to the school, the river, it just stank. It was full of like pollution and just rubbish, and you could just tell like on the other side of the river there was all the slums, which was the first bit of slums we'd seen, and you could tell how different it was to obviously being here or just even anywhere else in Kathmandu, because you just had the nicer part of Kathmandu, and then all of a sudden you just went to the slums, and they were like using the river water in the river. We seen cows in the river drinking the river water and dogs, and it was just like very different to see because you could tell that's like all they had, and it was just very dirty and it just smelled like terrible. So
Do you think that's one of the biggest memories you're probably going to take from that trip?
I hope not.
You hope, yeah, obviously you've got the nice things, but in terms of understanding
obviously,
what we have here,
yeah, the respect that I have for like my own like stuff at home and now, and how clean it is here compared to being there, it was very like eye-opening and different. So yeah, you just have to appreciate what you have.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Now I've just seen something being passed around behind it. Lift up that behind. Hopefully it's on that camera over there. Could you tell me what these are behind you?
These pretty much represent the 5 elements.
Okay.
So in their culture, they believe of the 5 elements, and you pretty much put this, attach it onto something like a backpack or rucksack or whatever, and when you're climbing up hills or mountains or anything, it pretty much, they say it represents you washing away your sins.
Okay, fantastic. So if people are listening to the audio only online, they're holding up prayer flags, is that correct? Yep. So they're holding up some prayer flags. They're different colours with different symbols throughout, which represent the different elements that you're talking about there. So they're the real deal as well, haven't you? So did you all get some of these prayer flags?
Yeah, we did. Before the trek, yeah.
Right, well that takes us into the trek quite nicely then, because I've been really excited. The work in the school is fantastic and everything, but obviously the trek, that must have been an absolute adventure. So, given that you know the names, it's been established. What where were you trekking to first of all?
So we were trekking to Poon Hill.
Okay, yeah.
So at the start of the trek, we started from Pokhara and we walked to Gandruk on the first day. So it was not the longest day. It was about 6 hours.
Yeah, it was 6 hours because I recorded it.
Yeah.
So.
Every second. He said that. I was like, I recorded it. So a 6-hour trek on day one.
Yeah.
Quite the start. So that wasn't the longest day.
It wasn't the longest day. The second day was the longest day. To Gorapani, it was about 8 to 9 hours.
Yeah, it
It's
was.
about
Possibly
25 kilometres in total,
Mm.
and a lot of stairs.
And
Oh,
lots of
just
up.
up. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So day one, what sort of landscape are you going through?
So it was just more, we were trekking along the roads.
Yeah.
More, and then after lunch, it was just like mainly upstairs and through like all the different like farmlands and everything.
We were following a like massive river, weren't we? Like a bright, like blue river. It was quite interesting seeing how clear the water is there compared to here, because it was just like clear.
Yeah. So were you away from the towns and cities
Oh yeah,
when you were
in the
doing this
middle of
trek?
nowhere.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, I've got notes here about the tea houses and things like this. Is this
Tea houses is what we were staying in. That's what they call them.
Ah,
So,
okay.
yeah.
So you trek all day, get to a tea house.
Yeah.
Describe. Do you want to describe those?
It's just like a hotel, but not as kind of luxury like as it was maybe in Pokhara when we started. Just basic rooms with basic things that you need really, and it was a bit colder in those as well, especially when we got up to the mountains in Gandruk. We had an amazing view of the mountains, but it was a bit colder in those rooms. Like there was nothing there to like really keep you insulated. You had to, have your sleeping bags on and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Do you know if you were going up quite high altitude when you were doing this trek? Were you high enough to feel the effects of altitude? Or were you,
Yeah, we did get
Yeah?
told about it, yeah.
But I think it's because of the speed we were walking at, and we didn't like ascend it quickly, so we didn't get the effect of if you're starting from our level just straight up in one day.
Yeah.
So I think no one got altitude sickness. I don't think.
No.
So how long was the trek? Was it 2 days or was it a few more?
4 days.
4 days trekking. Wow. Okay. So day 3, how long was that one?
Well, that day we woke up at about 5 in the morning to actually get to the top of Poon Hill.
Yeah, without any breakfast or anything.
Yeah.
We had breakfast when we came back down
Did
from
you?
Poon Hill. So
Straight up the top.
yeah,
Did you get some great view? What was the weather? Was the weather good? Was it good?
it was good. It could have been better. It was a bit misty when we got to the top, but when we kind of stayed there for a bit and it cleared up a little bit and then it went back to mist. But it was still an amazing view. You could still see the top of the mountains. So yeah, it was interesting.
You could see Annapurna, which is like the 7th highest mountain in the world, I think.
I don't think yeah.
And you could see another one that was above 7,000 metres as well. And Fishtail Mountain, I don't know what it's called in Nepalese, but that's like there.
We could see Annapurna South.
That's the one,
Yeah.
Annapurna South.
There you go. So you could see some really big mountains in
Yeah.
the distance as well. What an experience that was. I mean, you must have seen some interesting communities along the way. Were you going through any villages or anything like that as you were going? Would you like to tell me a bit about that?
We walked on like the first couple of days. We walked mainly through the villages, and there was always people like they're just looking, waving, smiling, and saying "Namaste." And then there'd be kids that would come up to you and ask for money or chocolate. Which was they'd just say chocolate, and they'd be like chocolate, and you'd go, "Oh no, sorry," and they go, "Oh okay," and then they'd ask the next person, and that was like almost every village. But it was walking through them, and you'd get like, we got followed by dogs a lot. And when we were, like, they just follow you and just walk with you. They wouldn't take water off you. They wouldn't take food off you. They'd just walk with you. And then the Nepalese, like, the Sherpas were saying that that's, like, good luck. And they protect all the, like, the demons from you, which is really cool to see them just following you. And then just cows and random things everywhere. It was kind of weird to see. Because you're not used to seeing a cow just in someone's house or just walking next to you.
There was a lot of buffaloes, wasn't there?
There was a yak as well.
Yeah.
When we were going up, we could hear all this shouting, and we turned a corner and this yak was just getting dragged down the stairs by loads of people.
it was out of control.
Yeah.
It was running.
It
We had
was,
to shout down to Rich because he was walking by himself, and we had to go, Rich, you need to move out the way because
So
he
you're
was just.
trying to get up and there's a yak coming down.
We
Yeah.
knew it was there because we were with like the people, the trekking guides.
Yeah.
But Rich was just walking by himself because he was behind us, the
Yeah.
first group. So he was walking up and we had to tell him to run back down. So I looked down and all I seen him was running down the stairs. And I think you tripped over as well. I think you tripped over running away from it.
Thought it was the first group shouting, so we were like, what are they all shouting at? And then we saw these people running down with this yak. We were like, "Wah." So we literally just were like, get to the side, get to the side. And we genuinely thought it was going to charge at us because we were near the river at the time. So obviously the yak wanted to go and get water. So it was like trying to push everyone into the water. It actually managed to push someone into the water.
I bet you didn't. I bet that was the last thing you'd expect to see coming down the hillside at you. You've touched on the guides and Sherpas were mentioned. Did you have Sherpas with you?
Yeah,
And
pretty
you've
much.
said you've tried
Yeah.
portering. Is that right?
Yeah, it's mad because like they look so small, like the people that are doing it, but they're really, really strong.
Yeah.
Because they're carrying a lot of weight, but they do it with ease. Like we were struggling going up all the steps, but they pretty much ran up it with the bags on. Like they weren't out of breath or anything. They just find it nice and easy. But it's different now because we know they don't get paid much while doing it, but they take so much pride in doing it. So it's just like, to me, it doesn't sound like a bad job. Like you walk in some of the best routes, but obviously that's how they feed their families and stuff.
So when you said you had a go at it, how did that work out for you? How much were you carrying?
I don't know, but I think my bag was actually heavier than the Sherpa's bags, like, which I think I've been stitched up there, but it was still good. One, because I got to the food first, so it was an extra bonus for me, but it was definitely more tiring than my body though, because it was like a big bag on my back and then walking the same heat, and it was hard work.
What about like the thing you had on your heads?
Oh, yeah, basically, on one of the bags, to help with the weight, it's like the bottom of the bag strapped on with a rope, and it's like a headband on it, and it helps take a lot of the weight off it.
And put it on your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're supporting the weight of the luggage with the band on your head.
Yeah, as well as on your back as well.
How did you find that?
Well, I personally didn't actually do it because I just had a normal backpack, but another person did and said it took a lot of the weight off.
Right.
The stress and that, and made it a lot easier compared to just carrying it on your back.
Wow, I bet that was incredible to see these guys at work. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Okay, so what I want to ask all of you in turn... Oh, hang on, no. What I want to... Trekking songs. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to disclose this off camera. These guys are trying to stitch Jay up by making him sing the trekking song. I can verify, and I'm just going to say it, he's been singing a few of the lines of some of the trekking songs. I'm not going to make you sing it. If you wanted to, you can. It's up to you.
I'll attempt it. Can I put the backing song on, or does it come as copyright?
Probably comes as copyright, unfortunately. It's up to you.
I'll attempt it.
Go on.
Just don't.
We could clap you a beat.
Yeah.
There
And then
go.
you can
Let's
sing
do
it.
that.
Alright, go on then.
Reshamfiri, Reshamfiri, Udaradalki, Dadana Bangjang, Reshamfiri.
That's brilliant. That is fantastic. That deserves a round of applause. Good on you. Thank you. I mean, obviously you've had to learn that. It's not just something
It took
you
me a
just...
lot of days, and I still messed it up.
Really?
Oh yeah, walking up the hills, it's all we heard.
So I bet now that you guys have got a microphone, you're going to sing it here. Because we've had to listen to this all the way around.
Especially on the bus.
Yeah.
On the way back.
On the way back.
I was blasting the tunes with them, just singing the song with the trekkers and the porters, and they were loving it, and so was I. So.
Oh, fantastic. That is so good. Congratulations on doing that. Like that doesn't sound easy to do, so good on you, and fully embracing into the spirit of what it's all about. So what I'm going to go round quickly and ask you all is one takeaway memory that you've got from the trip. Okay? One thing. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to just have a quiet think now, and then what I'm going to do is come round and I'm going to say, what is your biggest takeaway memory from the trip? Are you ready? We'll start with yourself.
just the different bonds we made with everyone when we were out there. Like, we got close to the guides, we got close to the children when we were out there. Like, in such a short space of time, like, the actual bond you could grow with them. And the children were all coming, giving us all hugs on the last day we were there. They were like, please come back next year, please come back next year. We were like, oh, we'll try.
Okay, Jay, what's your biggest takeaway?
How, like, when you're at the mountains, like, the mountains are that big, like, it makes stuff just seem so small. Like, any problems you had, like, just like they weren't as big as what you thought they were.
Yeah.
So it's quite a humbling experience.
Perspective and humbling.
Yeah, but it was a nice one. Like, we know people had a moment to the mountain where, like, got emotional and stuff. Mine took a few days for me to realise, but, like, it's good because you see life a bit differently and how lucky, but also just life maybe ain't what it is, like, as bad as what you think it is. So, yeah.
I like that. Good takeaway, that one. What about yourself?
I think when I woke up in the morning in Gandruk at that hotel and we saw the best view that we'd seen, it was just so clear. It was amazing. None of us knew the mountains were there because it was like thunderstorming when we got there in the night before. So we had no clue there was the mountains right there. And I woke up and I went out my room and I was just like, oh my God. I shouted Kenzie and Lulu and I was like, you need to come out here, you need to see these mountains, because it was just, you could see the Fishtail, Annapurna South, and then the rest of the Annapurnas, and it was absolutely mad. So yeah, it was definitely something that I'll remember in my head.
Fantastic. What about yourself?
Probably the biggest memory for me was when we all actually made it to the top of Poon Hill and saw the three peaks. It was probably the best memory for me because of we got to see the sunrise. It was absolutely mesmerising view that we could all witness.
I love that. Sunrise. Yeah, I'd be all over that. What about yourself?
Probably the relationship we built with the porters. Like, they were more, at the start of it, they were more like, yeah, we're taking you up this, and then by the end of it, it was like, I don't want to leave, we don't want to use to go, can we do some more, kind of thing. Like, it was just a really good relationship, and the food was amazing.
Yeah, and the food. I've got the theme. So that's brilliant. And finally,
definitely the bond that we created with everyone, like, in the school and on the trek, like with the kids being able to see how they are in the school, and then with the guides as well on the trek, just building different bonds with.
I'm blown away, but like I said at the start, my school trip didn't go to Nepal. I never got to go to Nepal, but I think, you know, me personally, I have travelled. I love travelling. Travelling is a fantastic thing to do. I'm getting nodding. I'm assuming you are absolutely bought into travelling and exploring. And I think it's fantastic what you've done. And I think the fact that you've gone, we've got other students off camera as well. I think the fact that you've all gone along and just embraced it for what it is and you know, really took it on has been incredible, especially, like say, you've never been abroad before, for example, and that is it's a trip of a lifetime, I imagine. I'm sure you'd probably agree. So yeah, wow. I'm looking off camera, I'm blown away. So thank you so much for joining us today. We are so delighted to share this, this trip basically, and everything that you've done. An absolute credit to yourselves in terms of embracing the trip and the cultures and the different foods. Yes, the food, all of those different things, and just sort of embracing it. And it's so great to see you, taking it from college and then going and giving back to children, young people in their schools and surroundings. So thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to know more about Darlington College and the courses that we offer, please visit www.darlington.ac.uk. And likewise, if you've got any questions about trips such as this, please by all means get in touch with us and we'll be able to answer those questions. Thank you, guys.